a few months ago, I bought this big old truck. And I bought this big old truck to replace this truck. Now this truck, the 2001 F-150, dubbed the Blue Bandit by my brother some years ago, has been in my family since it's new. And it's been a great truck. But unfortunately, it just doesn't tow like what I need it to. So I've got a few things to fix on it, then the Blue Bandit will be up for sale. But the new truck is pretty good. I was really excited when I found this Super Duty. I needed something that could tow my 20-foot enclosed car hauler better than the old blue F-150. Now this truck is great because it has things like a upgraded rear springs. They're stiffer, so they'll tow my trailer better. It's got a hideaway gooseneck hitch in the bed. It's got, you know, a trailer brake controller, and it's equipped with the notorious 6-liter Powerstroke. While a lot of people avoid the 6-liter, this one's pretty good. It's got some mods like an AEM intake, upgraded intercooler piping, fancy blue oil and fuel filter caps. But the most important thing is that the EGR cooler has been deleted and the oil cooler has been replaced. The EGR cooler and oil cooler are two of the biggest things for maintenance and longevity on these trucks. I cover some of this in another video and talk about it when I bought the truck. So if you're interested in that, you know, click the link that pops up there. I was also very excited. This truck, although it's been worked hard, has remained mostly stock. I didn't want a loud, obnoxious exhaust or crazy loud turbo. At least I didn't think I did. However, since I've started towing with this truck, I do now feel the need to put an exhaust on it. And although I don't necessarily want the truck to be super loud, there are good reasons for it. So I've used this truck to tow my trailer all the way down to Florida and back, which is, you know, round trip about 20 hours. And while the truck runs and drives fantastic, once I get up to higher speeds, it just starts to feel a little sluggish, which is, I mean, pretty normal considering I'm towing a big old trailer. The reason why I want to put an exhaust on it isn't for more power. It's not to try and make it faster, it's not to try and make it louder, it's to be able to free up the truck a lot. When diesels or really any engine under a high load, you start to worry about your exhaust gas temperatures, especially on diesels. The stock exhaust on this, I think, is 3.5 all the way back. At the turbo, the V-man clamp is 3.5. And when you're towing, especially heavy loads, and you're not paying attention because you don't have an EGT gauge, because I don't, your EGTs can get hot enough to melt pistons or blow head gaskets. One of the solutions to this is to just install a larger exhaust to free up flow, which decreases your EGTs because it decreases the load on the turbo. Essentially, by opening it up after the turbo, it allows air to flow more freely through, so you don't build up back pressure, and which by reducing back pressure, you're decreasing temperatures, because obviously as you increase pressures, temperatures go up as well. Now, instead of buying a brand new exhaust because I'm cheap, I asked around and a friend of mine had this sweet exhaust sitting on the side of his shop. This is an MBRP, I believe it's their 5-inch exhaust. Stacy did cut up the downpipe. Now here's the downpipe. My friend did cut it up because he was going to try and use this to fix a truck at his shop. So first I need to weld that back together, and then I can pull off the old exhaust and put the new one on. I've got the two pieces of downpipe tacked together now. Now it's just a matter of welding it all up and making sure there are no holes in it. All done. Now I was going to wait for that to cool off. Right. So now ideally you'd have your truck on a lift so you could drop the downpipe down, but I don't have a lift. We'll see if I can get the downpipe out, but what you need to do is you gotta chop it like right here. This is a downpipe coming down right there at the elbow. That's where you want to chop it so you can drop the downpipe out, and then you can remove the rest of the exhaust after you get the downpipe out. So we're going to use a Sawzall. Okay, downpipe is free of the rest of the exhaust. Now I'm going to go undo the downpipe up at the top. Some people say you need to soak the V-band clamp like overnight in like PB Blast or some type of penetrating fluid. That may be true if the downpipe's never been off before, but my truck had the turbo replaced somewhat recently, so it's already pretty free. Right, downpipe is finally off. I stopped recording. On an 03 Super Duty, the downpipe is a lot more difficult to remove. And the reason why an 03 is so much more difficult to remove is because all of this foil fiberglass shielding that's on the downpipe. So pretty much what I had to do was unbolt it, right? So I chopped it, dropped it down a little bit, and then chopped it again, and then dropped it down even further, and then chopped it again, and then removed as much of the fiberglass shielding, the foil fiberglass shielding as I could. And this, once you get it down to this, where it's just this last little piece on it, that's it, it'll drop out. But the problem is, right there, that's the firewall that the turbo flange was hitting against. The V-band was hitting against, so as you're working it out, it's such a tight fit that you end up damaging that, unfortunately, as I did. If you're more careful, you might not have as much of an issue. But the biggest thing is pretty much getting rid of as much of that foil fiberglass stuff as possible. It took me about 2.5 hours just to get the downpipe out, and hopefully the rest should be smooth sailing because it's just chop a little bit and pop off some exhaust hangers. But right now what I'm gonna do, my exhaust is a 3.5 at the V-band, then it goes to a 4-inch. This is a 4-inch downpipe, and then it goes to a 5-inch after that. So I'm gonna fit the downpipe real quick to see how it fits. That is so much larger than stock. Another thing you'll have to do is pull the, or what I had to do was pull the sway bar on this side, the end link on this side, so that way you've got more room to finagle the downpipe out. Okay, I had to take a step back and rethink my strategy a little bit. It's a week later, so it's a little colder. I've got my jacket on. But I did get the downpipe out, right? You saw that. And I finally did get the new downpipe in. I had to get a little more creative, so I already pulled the sway bar end link. I had to pull a bracket out of the frame because it was getting in the way of getting the exhaust on or up into the hole. And then I also had to get out some special tools here. My hammer and block of wood. And you can see there's some nice indentations on it from the exhaust. It is such a tight fit between the cab and the engine and everything to get the downpipe up in there, the 4-inch one anyway, that I had to use a block of wood and a hammer to hammer on the end of it to trying to get it squeezed past a couple of spots. You know, I just didn't quite have the arm power to push it, but downpipe is on. I just have the V-band clamp loosely on there holding it in place so that I can now remove the rest of the exhaust from the truck and get the new exhaust on. A pretty handy tool for getting an exhaust off is this. This is a exhaust hanger pliers. I think I got these for like 15 or 20 bucks on Amazon. So right, so the original plan was to install an exhaust on my truck that I got from my buddy Stacy. However, it actually doesn't fit my truck. I figured this out when I started looking at it and comparing the hanger placements next to the stock exhaust, but I still tried to install it anyway because I was dumb. But plans changed now. I hit up my friends at J&A Performance. They were able to get me this exhaust for a pretty good deal, an MBRP 4-inch Catback. I got the single exit, the aluminized steel, not the stainless, because, well, I'm cheap. And although I wasn't able to use the full exhaust that I got from Stacy, I used the downpipe that I got from Stacy and then putting on the MBRP 4-inch Catback. Let's get the MBRP exhaust out, kind of get it set up on the grass over here and a general placement, and then we'll start putting stuff on the truck. Alright, so now we got the downpipe on. The first step is putting the muffler on, because I do have a muffler, because I don't need it to be super duper loud. So it goes on this double hanger setup here. So I sprayed some PD Blaster on there to get lubed up a little bit. Now we're going to try and get the muffler up there, at least on the hanger, which is the biggest pain in the butt, because it's awkward. The next part is connecting between here and up there, because there's normally a catalytic converter there, so I have to sort that dealio out. Ran out of battery again, but the exhaust is on. Starting to rain, but we'll take a look and we'll do a sound comparison here for you. No tip on it, just the exhaust. It is very, very important that you have both the front and rear hangers for the muffler on first, because everything else lines up based on that. And I was trying to explain that. You won't get this piece to even slide in unless those are lined up correctly. So I had to get an adapter to go from 3.5 to 4-inch, because every single catback now, every single exhaust for these trucks is 3.5 inches where the cat is. First startup. It's a little chilly and it's a 6-liter, so it doesn't really like cold starts. I don't know if you can hear that. The turbo whistle is a lot louder. All right, we'll do an outside comparison, and then we'll do some driving comparisons.
To be honest, it's really not that much louder. Like, sure, when you stomp on it, you can really hear the turbo spool up a bit more, but overall, it's not loud, it's not obnoxious.
And I think that's mainly the downpipe is what did that. And I'm glad I decided to go for the muffler versus a straight pipe. The muffler is just, I don't need to have a straight pipe. Muffler makes it sound really nice and pretty tame, which is what I wanted. So, now that I have the exhaust on the truck and I've driven around a little bit, what do I think? Obviously, the thing that I've already said is it's not super loud, which I like. I personally really do like that. It's just a little bit more to get a little bit more enjoyment out of the turbo whistle. Yeah, sure, maybe a little bit louder rumble from the engine, but really not enough to make a difference or to make it too obnoxious for me, which is good because I use my truck mainly for towing. And so I don't need an obnoxious exhaust. I don't want an obnoxious exhaust for towing because that's just going to be super loud and drony on the highway, and when I'm driving for several hours at a time, it's just not cool. But I haven't actually gotten a chance to test it out when towing. So I guess, that's next, is to be able to hook it up to my trailer and go try it out. There's a couple weeks until my next drift event, so probably in a couple of weeks, I will have some more feedback for you. Stay tuned. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Check out my other 6-liter video. Check out some of my drift videos, my A86 videos, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching.